just you get to choose. Right? Like here's the scenario. The environment gives us something which can be perceived as negative, can be perceived as not working, can be perceived as problematic. The world's ending. But we get to choose to see it like that, or we get to choose to see it as an opportunity.
So clearly that it's my responsibility now to do that for other people. If I have information and, other people's success is my success and vice versa.
Because you know what? Like, the challenges or the roadblocks are the journey themselves.
There's no big things. It's all little things compounding on top of each other.
Hey Coach, how are we doing today?
Hey, what's going on? I have a new hairdo, just decided to throw it up, and I'm wearing new deodorant today. So it's just fresh all the way around today.
All right, yeah, we're not quite to smell-o-vision or smell-o-audio, so I don't know about the deodorant, but good for you, man.
Yeah.
What caused that approach?
I ran out of my last stick of deodorant, so this is just the new one, and I don't know, just a new look with the hair. You may have noticed on previous episodes, been growing the beard out a little bit. We decided to trim the hedges back and go back to normal there. So the hair is I don't know, maybe like midlife crisis mode over here or something like that. It doesn't feel that way, but I'm just looking for a new look here. Switch it up.
There you go. All right, what else has been in your mind today? What's the principle that's come to most of the surface for your value add massive conversations with all your superstar clients today?
Maybe something we just talked about off camera about the best part of my week. It's a big moment for me. I was invited to a golf tournament that happened to take place on a Tuesday afternoon, and my schedule just happened to align with the fact that I was free and I could do that. And there's a sense of I don't know, maybe it's guilt or questioning of should I be doing this? Is this okay? And just reminded to reinforce the principle that not only is it okay, but this is what I want. I want to live a lifestyle that I love to live. And that was such an ideal day for me because I got to connect with 4 wonderful people via Zoom in the morning in the form of my clients. And we had great coaching calls. And then I tidied up a little work and I was off to the golf course for the afternoon. I had a blast. We had a really good time and our team did well. And it was a Tuesday afternoon. So I just I wanted to share that with you, with the audience, because I think we're supposed to enjoy life to the fullest. And I'm embracing more of this fun aspect. And even when I have to quote unquote work or get to work, because I love what I do, I want to interject fun into what I do. And we've recorded previous episodes on the value of when you're having fun, you're learning, you're in this place of curiosity.
Yeah.
I want that more and more often.
Like everything should be fun. Everything we should be doing should be fun. At least an element of it, we can make it funner. Like to move towards something that we really can't find fun in the thing we're doing. How can we figure out how to stop it, remove it, and move it off? But yeah, that's the point, right? Like it's make things that aren't normal. And Tuesday, is it like, I guess my overlay of that comment from you is that, Tuesday is supposed to be a work day, so I have to work today. It's a weekday. Is that what you mean? Is that what you know?
Yeah. I'm expected to work today. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why I like the frame of, I'm retired, and because retired to me just means doing the things I want to do. I spent 20 years doing something else I didn't want to do. And I had to work then, so I'm in charge of my time. I do what I need to do based on what I want to do.
Are you enjoying your retirement, Coach?
Yes, and but my retirement is also work, because we have to continue to work, because if we're not working, then it's more challenging to grow, and if we're not growing, we're dying. It's going the other way.
Oh, okay. Does growing have to come from work?
Well, what's work? What does work mean? I think you can. So I go back to your fun and play. I think you can work at play as well, play at work also. I think these are all the things that are can be interchangeable and have flexibility as labels, right? But my favorite example of that is Joe Rogan about the UFC. Some years ago he changed what he did, and I've shared this with you in the past. I think he does pay-per-views in North America now, and said, because I love it. It's a lot of fun. I love the UFC. I'm a fanatic. I love doing it, and it's work. It's work, and he wasn't willing to make the trade-off to do that level of work for other things that happen in his life. Right? He has to go there. He has to be prepared. He has to do his research. He has to make sure that he loves to do it, and it's fun, but it's work. Right? So perhaps my reference for you is when it comes to sports and competitiveness. Like, if it was just fun, you wouldn't be competitive about it, because you'd just be playing with no outcome. You correct me if I'm wrong, the competitive nature of those things, because you're putting more on the line, and therefore you've got to take it more seriously whilst having fun, right? Those two things, tension, so therefore you got to work at it to get the most fun.
Yeah, yeah. I think you're making a very important distinction, because it's a spectrum between putting on the suit and tie, working at the job that you feel like you're expected to work at and being miserable, versus the other side of that spectrum of drinking martinis in the sun all day. Like, that's fun, right? But there's no progress being made. So where along that spectrum does the uh, does does it line up with the work and the fun? It's almost like quadrants you could put them in, and
Yeah.
depending on where you are in that quadrant, how much progress you're making with whatever, learning something, delivering value for people. Like, I wonder what that sweet spot is. Maybe it's like a warm, cold zone that lights up in that quadrant.
Here's an upcoming example for you. My friend Chris is coming over to see me in 5 weeks. 5 weeks today. Actually, I'll be just getting him from the airport, and we've got a 4-day road trip. Part of that is going to spend some time in Kentucky to try a lot of whiskey. And I said, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we wrote down all the different whiskeys we tried? Like, everywhere we go, we're going to do multiple flights. We can write the wood down. We do all the different distilleries. And you might think, well, why would you want to write them down? Like, why would you want to make it a working exercise? You got to write an essay on the end of it. Like, oh my goodness, I just want to have a couple of whiskeys. But for us, that was added to the fun of it. How cool would it be to, as we're going through, oh, we like, oh, that's another Buffalo Trace product. Oh, we've had that one already. And go, oh yeah, that was cool, and I remember that one, and like that, because that review of it adds to the depth of it, which allows us so we can come back and go, like, yeah, we really were intentional about where we were on all those places, and what we tried and what we didn't try, and we have some evidence we can just point to as well, which is another way of like showing that it meant something. Right. And then we went, well, what if just other than the whiskey taking stuff, like, what happens if we record like all the drinks we have, which are just like beers we have here and there, or like other, and then it got too much. And they're like, well, what if we're at a bar and it's late and it's loud, and I don't want to get my phone out and start finding an Evernote book and go, I've had drank a IPA from somewhere. It's like, well, then it becomes too much, right? And so that, again, like you said, the quadrants or the scale. But that for me is a great example of like the exact things. Like, there's I don't know, let's just see what happens. That's just fun and like free. But I want to. Well, we're back to just enough structure to be free.
I'm trying to think of how the hell we got on that topic. So the golf thing, if we lay out, think of it like a week, right? So might that combination of, because there's no, I don't know, unless it's with clients, that like golf in the middle of a week is more of a leisure activity. So there's really no cross of work and play, unless you're putting it in a given day where work happens and then play happens. But I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud and talking through this, because I think we can agree that if we find that that balance point, that sweet spot where we're having fun with what we're working on, like you're untouchable. You're in a flow that is difficult to explain or put into words, but when you see it, you know it for what it is. Would you agree with that?
I think, yeah, because traditionally it's a time thing. You work 5 days a week and you're off 2 days a week. You work 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours a day. But
It's one or the other.
right when you, yeah, I like the old school live to work or work to live. Like work life balance. It's like, well, how about work life integration? It's just you, and so it's more leverage, not time. And so just because you're not working on a Tuesday afternoon doesn't mean that you haven't created more value that day than someone who's worked 10 hours or sat 10 hours at a desk staring at the screen.
Hmm.
Or you could have one conversation on that golf course. I know it wasn't about work at all, but it could have been, right, to change something. Or you could have feasibly worked in a different way where you got home, you're like, well, I've got a couple of hours now. Like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm compelled to go do some work right now because I'd like to do it. The construct, I had someone once tell me, I used to work with banking. He said, we were talking about working from home. He said, I couldn't work from home. It's like too many distractions. I'd be watching TV all day. So part of that tells me that the reason why he needs the construct of that working environment in the office is to make him do something he doesn't want to do. He's got no intrinsic pull to do that thing.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like, well, if I'm here and everyone else is doing it, I'll do it as well. And I know that really I want to do it because it pays me, not because it's something he would do by himself.
Right.
I read this last week. I just closed that point out around purpose and pleasure. When we know that even if it's the strongest thing in the world for you, if you're not associated to it emotionally, it starts to wane in its pull on you. And what you focus on is what you get. If you're not focused on something, it's going to start to, the importance of it, the drive that you get from it, the juice starts to go away. And what's a good check-in for that? And I just realized this when I heard this. It's like, well, the opposite to that is moving towards pleasure. If you've got a lot of drive to purpose, you don't care so much about pleasure because you know do something that's going to be ultimately fulfilling down the line, that fulfillment. So if you find yourself searching more for pleasure at any given time, that's a good indicator that you're either not associated to the purpose that you're on at the moment, or don't have one that can give you enough drive to move towards it.
Hmm.
I thought that was really good. It's a good check-in.
Yeah, interesting. Is there something to be said about uh, breaking up the cadence? Because can you love something and then because the cadence is so consistent, it feels like a shakeup is needed sometimes?
For sure.
Yeah.
This morning I was like, man, I'd quite like just to sit today. And all the same time knowing that like what I've got in front of me is exciting stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 calls, mostly clients, a few team stuff, one prospect kind of thrown in there. And but knowing like it changes, right? It changes how much you want to commit to it, what you need to do, but it's a constant inattention, right? Moving around.
Yeah.
So that golf makes you better probably later in this week or next week.
Mm.
But you can't see. There's no direct correlation. There's no line to follow necessarily.
Right. Yeah, I certainly showed up to work, quote unquote, the next day, like feeling like I got away with something. Like I had more energy. I was fired up.
Right. Yeah, you create the urgency, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful,
Um,
coach.
yeah, just to make a point about the last thing that you said, maybe this is just food for thought for next time. But I talked with a prospect recently who said that they were scared of pursuing earning a living doing something they loved because they loved it. They didn't want to make their love their work. I thought that was really interesting. It's just definitely just a mindset and a perception thing that we can peel away and understand why that might be there. But just a perspective from the other side of work and play and hesitating to make something that felt like play into work because they didn't want to tarnish it.
I've heard that before, actually. Yeah. I think that there's something that's so pure for you that it's just really just out and out fun. If you put that, it's like, do I really want to do this every day? Do I want to go to the lengths of this being my thing that I have to live and I have to know everything about? Or can I just keep it on the edge?
This is definitely what I'll leave you with. So there's a scene at the end of the movie, The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. Have you ever seen that movie?
I have seen it, I believe. Yes.
One of my favorites of all time. I've seen it a whole bunch. He's on the mountain at the end with like Sean Penn's character who's taking photos. And his job is to take photos. So he loves his job. He gets to work for, the equivalent of, it was a magazine. I can't remember what it was called. Oh, Life magazine, I think.
Okay.
And there's this rare, what do they call it? Ghost something, ghost lion, ghost mountain, whatever. They're a rare animal that he sees. And it's Ben Stiller's character looks over at him and goes, well, aren't you going to take a picture of it? And he just says something along the lines of, some moments are just not meant to be captured. They're just meant to be enjoyed. So he chose not to work in that playful time and just enjoy the play part. So that stuck with me.
Yeah. That's the equivalent of being at a birthday party and everyone's trying to take a picture of the cake and video the cake and like no one's actually watching it. I'll go back and watch it later. It's like,
you missed it.
Something missing there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Coach. Awesome stuff.
We'll see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you for watching another episode of Truth Seekers. We appreciate your interaction. So please comment, like, subscribe to YouTube, Apple Podcasts or Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you want more, check out some of our links. Links to our masterclass, The Achiever's Mindset, and come join our LinkedIn group. And what do you want to see more of? Remember, we're here to share the simple secrets of successful. So help us do that. What do you want to see? What do you want to see more of? Thanks, and see you again next time.